Hello and welcome our beloved viewers to RTD's News English edition. As usual, we'll begin tonight's news with the major and top highlights. Please let's follow. Launch of the National Environment Week in Djibouti. And on the international scene, Youth Connect funding for young people in Rwanda. Those were our major top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. The President of the Republic, His Excellency, Mr. Ismail Omar Gelle, has expressed his compassion and solidarity with the brotherly and friendly people of Turkey, deploring the death of some 40 people working in a mine that exploded in Amsara in the northern region of Turkey. This expression of solidarity from President Gelle to the Turkish nation came in a message of condolence sent on Sunday to President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The people and government of Djibouti also join me in expressing their sympathy and friendship to the sister nation of Turkey in the terrible ordeal of this tragedy, wrote the head of state in the telegram sent to Mr. Erdogan. May God Almighty spare the brotherly Turkish people the recurrence of such traumatic events, the President of the Republic noted in the same document. A similar message was sent to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Mr. Muhammadu Buhari, whose country has been facing since last June the consequences of deadly rains that have killed nearly 500 people, forcing 1.4 million others to leave their homes. The Prime Minister, Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, made a statement about the attack on the barracks of the armed forces in Gabartisan. Let's follow.
Nous avons adopté à l'Assemblée nationale un projet de loi qualifiant les flux armés des organisations terroristes. Pourquoi nous l'avons fait? Tout le monde va penser à ce que
Of October 6 to 7, 2022, around 2 a.m., a group of armed individuals attacked the military barracks of Abba Garabtisan in the region of Tajora. A criminal investigation was opened by the Djibouti police on October 7, 2022, and entrusted to the SRD, Research and Documentation Section of the National Gendarmerie. Investigations at this stage have established the heavily armed individuals, composed of 70 to 100 people, the majority of whom came from Ethiopia and of whom 100 were identified, and attacked the military barracks of Gabartisan using grenades, PKM rifles, and AKMs. This attack resulted in the death of 7 soldiers of the Djiboutian National Army, 4 wounded, and 6 other soldiers kidnapped by the armed group. This terrorist attack had been decided, planned, and coordinated from neighboring countries, to which the armed individuals fled with their hostages, food, and ammunition stocks. In an introductory indictment dated October 17, 2022, the public prosecutor referred the case to an investigating judge to investigate this terrorist attack targeting the Fruit Army, a terrorist organization qualified as such by law number 170/N/22nd 8th register dated October 13, 2022, against Ali Badul Gohar and consorts, and against all other persons that instruction will determine, of having committed in Djibouti at Gabartisan in the territory of the Republic of Djibouti during the night of 6 to 7 October 2022 acts of terrorism in relation to an individual or collective enterprises aimed at seriously disrupting public order through intimidation or terror by having in particular voluntarily caused the death of 7 people, having voluntarily wounded 4 of them, and having kidnapped 60 others, all of whom were serving military personnel and were in a position to exercise public authority, to have committed the facts of robbery, extortion, vandalism, and other destructions, degradations, and deteriorations, to have participated in a group or an agreement established for the preparation, characterized by one or more material facts of one or more crimes qualified as acts of terrorism. The investigating judge issued international letters, regulatory, and international arrest warrants. Following a nomination ordeal that took place in Tajora at the home of Mr. Ahmed Shehem, the representatives of the Majlis of Sultanate of Tajora, through the voice of the Saj Ahmed Barakat and Hassan Shehem, announced that this event has no traditional legal basis, a null and void event, an unsuccessful attempt in the total denial of the traditional rules in the force in the Arafar Sultanate of Tajora for centuries. The 2 wise men specified that according to the traditional rules in force, the General Assembly of Dibna has already validated the process of internormate planned on October 26, 2022. This August Assembly has validated several months ago Ali Habib Ahmed as Sultan and Humad Abdul Qadir as Vizier, and has fixed an official date of interment on October 26, 2022. His Excellency Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, Prime Minister, presided this morning over the launching ceremony of the National Environment Week. The ceremony was attended by members of the government, parliamentarians, ambassadors, and representatives of the United Nations system, civil society, local communities, and the private sector. In his speech, the Prime Minister recalled that the environment is a vital source for all living beings, providing the food we eat, the water we drink, the air we breathe, and the medicines we use for health care. The Prime Minister also recalled that it is from the environment that mankind draws its substance and all the resources necessary for its economic and social development. The objective of the National Environment Week is to raise awareness of the importance of environmental protection. During this week, the Ministry of Environment will organize, in collaboration with UNDP, several awareness activities in the capital and in the interior regions. The Minister of Environment and Sustainable Development, Mr. Muhammad Abdul Qadir, indicated that the environment constitutes for all living creatures a virtual source that provides the food we eat, the water we drink, and the air that we breathe. In turn, the Prime Minister indicated that man diverse his strength from the environment and that all resources necessary for economic and social development are the environment. Within the framework of the annual meeting of the World Bank and the IMF, the Minister of Economy and Finance in charge of industry, Mr. Ilyas Musa Dawali, participated in the ministerial conclave on human capital in the presence of the President of the World Bank Group. It was about the global rise in food prices that is hitting the poor hard. Even before the pandemic, chronic and acute undernourishment was on the rise in the world due to conflicts, social economic conditions, and climate change. The minister in his speech stressed that the disruption caused by the war in Ukraine has amplified the pressure on prices, which are expected to remain high in the coming months, with the risk of tipping millions more people into a situation of acute food insecurity and have serious repercussions on human capital. He recalled that Djibouti has put in place targeted social protection measures to help cushion the impact of food and other prices increase on poor households. This event provided an opportunity to take stock of the ministerial conclave on human capital behind closed doors to focus on how countries can invest in social protection, productive inclusion, and policies that promote nutrition, with the aim of not only preserving human capital in the immediate term, but also reinforcing advances that are essential for the long-term growth and productivity. The Minister of Economy and Finance in charge of industry, Mr. Ilyas Moussadawali, with the Director General of the French Development Agency on the sidelines of the annual meetings of the WBIMF in Washington. The Minister of Economy and Finance in charge of industry held the discussions focused on ways to strengthen the strategic cooperation between Djibouti and AFD, which has increased fourfold since the visit of the President Emmanuel Macron. Both parties welcomed the excellent relations between France and Djibouti. The Minister of Interior, Mr. Saeed Nur Hassan, went yesterday morning, Sunday, October 6, 2022, in the locality of Holhol in the region of Ali Sibih for a working visit. Welcome by the Prefect of the region, Mr. Musa Adan Megan, in the presence of the President of the Regional Council of Ali Sibih, Sharmanke Hassan Al Ali, the Colonel of the Military School of Holhol, Colonel Muhammad Jama', the Commander of the Police Detachment of the Region, Commander Mahdi Umar Jama', the Field Coordinator of Honors, Leila Ali. First, the Minister and the delegation went to the camp of Holhol, where he was warmly welcomed by the refugee population. Then the Minister of the Interior met with the refugee community in the presence of representatives of UN organizations and honors. Then the refugees raised the security of running water and especially the difficulties of sanitation that threaten the hygiene and health of the refugee population. The mission led by the minister received a warm and enthusiastic welcome from the population, who came in large numbers to the sub-prefecture of Holhol. The Minister of the Interior met with the population of the locality of Holhol In their interventions, the Prefect of the Regions of Ali Sibeh, Mr. Musa Adam Migan, the President of the Regional Council, the Okals, and the Women's Association welcomed the Ministry of the Interior to Hol Hol. The Ministry of Interior, Mr. Saeed Noor, thanked the population for the welcome they gave him. The Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud, launched the start of the preparatory classes for the grant schools of the High School of Excellence, a great first for the Republic of Djibouti prior to the information and orientation ceremony for the students of the preparatory classes for the grant schools marking this new school year. The Ministry of National Education and Training was keen to meet with the parents of the students at the High School of Excellence in order to inform them of the mechanisms put in place by his teams and the means implemented with the support of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Gelle. After a welcoming word from the Director of School of Excellence, the Minister recalled that as a logical continuation of this noble ambition of these brilliant students, MEFOP has entered into a partnership with the Rectorate of the University of Poitiers and its the High School of Camille Garin through a partnership agreement with the French Ministry of Education for the opening of scientific and literary preparatory classes within the High School of Excellence. Our young students aged 13 to 16 years old will thus be able to continue their education in Djibouti during the next 2 years before applying to the French grant school. It should be noted that our country is one of the first nations, with Senegal, to integrate preparatory classes of the French grant schools, initiated the minister, who has explained the most beautiful pages of the history of the Djiboutian school. He said the opportunity for him to pay tribute to teachers, parents, but also inspectors and educational advisors who were part of this great adventure. He indicated that MEFOP had agreed, with the support of the President of the Republic, a exceptional budget for the 2 years of preparatory classes, an investment that demonstrates the cardinal importance given to the success of this project. The Secretary General of MEFOP, Mohammed Abdullah Mahyoup, expressed the mobilization and commitment of all MEFOP teams to meet this challenge and accompany our young students. He finally announced to the parents that the inspectors will give during the week to the students all the information concerning their curriculum in the preparatory classes and the opportunities of the further studies which are offered to them. The baccalaureate holders of the School of Excellence made their return to school this morning in the scientific and literary streams of the classic preparatory of Grant School of the School of Excellence. On this occasion, the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, His Excellency Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud, accompanied by senior officials of his department, went to the site to launch this implementing start of the school year. The Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, His Excellency Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud, was able to talk with the young students of the first preparatory classes of the Republic of Djibouti. He reiterated his congratulations and assured the students of all the mobilization of his teams to accompany them during this course of excellence towards the path of the most prestigious French schools, but also Anglo-Saxon. Let us note the implementation of the CPGE partnership with the Camille Garin High School of the Preparatory Academies, which puts in teachers at the disposal of our students of the preparatory classes of the High School of Excellence within the framework of an agreement between the Djibouti and the French Ministries of Education. Finally, this citizen was materialized this morning by the presence of major economic operators of the place who have shown by their presence the interest they give to this promising project initiated by His Excellency, the President of the Republic.
Je suis ravie d'être aujourd'hui avec le MENFOP.
The Ministry of Digital Economy and Innovation, Mrs. Mariam Hamadou, received Sunday morning Mr. Dema Ali Yahya, Secretary General of the Digital Cooperation Organization, at the head of a large delegation. Making her first visit to Djibouti, the Secretary General of the DCO expressed her thanks to the Minister for the warm welcome that was given to her and her delegation. She said that their visit is of vital interest to better understand the progress of digital and the entrepreneurial ecosystem of the country. The meeting reviewed ways to promote cooperation between the Ministry and DCO in areas related to digital economy. Then exchange between the Minister and the SG was particularly fruitful and led to the presentation by the Minister to the roadmap of development and the department. The Minister also indicated that DCO will play a leading role in addressing the many challenges and the synergy in the deployment of digital tools with member states. Established by 2020 by 7 member states, of which Djibouti is a new member and founder, the DCO aims to strengthen collaboration and cooperation on entrepreneurship and innovation. As for the Ministry of Digital Economy, Mrs. Mariam Hamadou, this meeting was an opportunity to present the roadmap of her department, which is based on 4 pillars: digital administration, digital economy sectors, trades of the future, and finally citizen partnership and digital culture. After the training of teachers of children with disabilities, the delegation composed of AMPH staff and experts visited the University of Djibouti. They were received by the President of the University of Djibouti, Mr. Jamal Mohammed Hassan, the Secretary General of the University of Djibouti, Dr. Medina, the Dean of the Faculty. At this meeting, it was decided to set up awareness meetings for young students on the issue of disability. On the other hand, it was also decided to synthesize this medical profession on the care of people with disabilities. For this purpose, a training model for a master level for the training in the care of people with disabilities was discussed for a possible implementation. Shifting gears towards the international scene now, the 5th edition of the Youth Connect Summit ended in Kigali. Let's follow.
Thousands of young innovators and leaders from all across the world attend the event to discuss different ways to promote growth and investment for the youth of the Africa continent. This year's summit was on the theme Accelerating Investment in Youth, Accelerating Youth, Resilient Africa. It brought together participants from 13 African countries to discuss and chart a way forward on how to involve the youth in Africa's trade, climate resilience and financing, technology and scaling for the future, among the other topics.
Real Madrid dominated Barca in the first Clásico of the season. Let's follow.
Madrid logically dominated Barca in the first Clásico of the season. Karim Benzema scored, emulated by its long-time rival in the last competition between the two teams. Real Madrid took a tasty revenge this Sunday in his Bernabeu home. The European champion has beaten Barca without forcing his talent 3-1, a convincing adjustment of the merengue.
But this is our beloved viewers. We finally conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.